Hey guys, welcome to Central Park. This is located in Southaven, Mississippi. This is one of the main disc golf courses in the area. It's one of the best. Home to 1010, this as well as Latimer Lakes. Today I do something that I haven't done yet. I'm going to play the longs. I'm trying to decide, do I want to play a little bit of MA1 this year? So I'm going to dip my toes in a little bit in the waters and see what it's like. What about Central? Central is usually a very windy course. Today it's surprisingly calm. Located in the valley, there's not a ton of elevation, but there's a lot of OB that comes in play. And so today I'm going to be doing a little bit more of an exploratory round. I want to be able to see like how many holes do I think I could actually birdie, which ones are more parable. I'm going to compare it to how scores have been in the past and decide that I play a tournament in the longs later on in the season. In the shorts, the last tournament I played here, my buddy Steven Dial, I think he shot a 12 under, might have been a 13 under in the shorts, and that I think was like a 12 or 10-20 rated round. And it's birdie or die. And so I'm trying to explore. I don't like birdie or die golf. I like more of like challenging, not having tons of pressure every single hole. And I just kind of foresee that the shorts are going to be that way for the future. So thanks for joining me. And I'm going to warm up with some shots and then try to go for this long one. All right, guys, this is hole 1 at Central. I think the path that most people probably try to take is up the gut. You'll see there's the basket down there. I believe you can go to the left route where that lady's walking. I'm not exactly sure where OB is. I think OB might be where that path is over there. Maybe not this path. Usually there is OB right where this creek is, where those trees are, right behind them. So I'll throw a few and we'll see. So what you'll see that I pulled up here is the average on this hole for 2 tournaments here. So for the Central Classic, it was a 3.67 average, whereas for the Autumn Glory Open, it was 3.78. So it is averaging above par in MA1. From both those tournaments, it looks like there was only 1 birdie, but the Central Classic was a smaller sample size. So par's pretty good here. Okay, I think this is inbounds. It is, unless like, I don't know, I think it's inbounds. I have to ask, if y'all know, comment below. Let me know if this is inbounds or not. Okay, so I went back and did some digging and looked through some old emails, and this is what the OB is. So I was technically out of bounds, just wasn't aware of it, must have missed the sign or something like that. But my game plan would be to make a placement shot, kind of where the short basket is, and then do like a jump putt or like a easy up shot. This is hole 2, and this is a new location, a new pin location, a new hole. You might have seen with hole 1, they've been doing some construction, and so it looks like it is dead straight up there. You just said 285. To me, it looks a little longer than that. It looks like it's like 330 or something. So anyways, I'm going to pump a few up there. I think this is going to be one of those holes that I would probably need a birdie. Now, as I'm looking at this hole, it looks like you can just go dead straight. That's tough going uphill unless you have something a little flippier. There might actually be a, right over here, there might be a path to do like a hyzer. Kind of go to the right and let it crash back left. And I think there's a left path too, probably for a good forehand. I might try a few different ways and see what I prefer. Probably a decent route. the right side. The best shot was that Essence over there. And I might like that route in the future. I might try to go more up the gut, put it on a little turn. I just didn't get it high enough. I do really like the wide route with the FD. That's my very first shot, and it's what I'm gonna take, but probably just a little bit outside the circle, but I might even have to disc up a little bit more. It plays a lot further than what you disc listed. So I think that's one of those holes that I will definitely have to give myself an opportunity to birdie. I'm always intrigued by my knee jerk reaction and what I need to do on a hole. When you actually look at the data from these two tournaments that I'm analyzing, there was only 3 and 24 people out of 24 people that birdied this hole. So it plays a little tougher, I think, because it's elevated, and depending on the conditions, if it's super windy, it's going to be tough to get a birdie on this hole. So definitely have to get a par. It seems like the vast majority of folks are getting pars. Some people are getting bogeys, but if I remember, AGO might have had more MA2 people playing in that tournament, and so that might be the reason for the bogeys and double bogeys. We're at hole 3 now, and I think you just said 600 and something. I'm not exactly sure. And I think they play from the long tee pads. We'll see. But they've had to do some adjustments on this hole because of construction work as well. The left side over here is OB, where the sidewalk is, okay? Now, if I zoom in all the way down there, you can see the basket behind that tree. This is about placement. It's like trying to get down right behind these 3 trees. Then there's like a little river or creek that's OB. Then you want to pitch up for the birdie. So we'll see. There's a tailwind. I might try to go something stable, just to try to. I like to go more stable when I'm downhill, but I don't know. Maybe I'll let one rip. We'll see. I think that's safe, and that's very lucky. Okay, barely in bounds. So I didn't throw any really good there. I'm thinking with this, it's probably just my back's really tight. So it is what it is, but hopefully I can pitch up and get a bird. Now those aren't going to work when there's leaves and stuff in some of these trees, so I'm going to have to put a little more juice on it. One of the things I did not bring today that I need to charge is my rangefinder. Pretty dependent upon it when it's like something that's not off the tee pad. I know it's pretty bad, but I haven't charged it, so I need to charge it again. Okay, I was also surprised by the numbers here as well. I thought more folks would have gotten birdies on this hole since it's basically 2 placement shots. However, I'm going to give the benefit of the doubt to either the conditions or it being more of a fairly new hole. So really, when I'm looking at this, I'm thinking about 25% of the MA1 players are going to get birdies, and maybe 25% are going to get pars. So I really need to be in the par birdie range on this hole. It really stinks to get a bogey on this hole, but it can happen many ways. There is OB left and there is OB in the creek. My upshot was not very good. That would not cut it if there were leaves on that tree. So I also think people will get more dialed in
the longer they play this. So I expect those numbers to go up.
I'm gonna zoom in. You see the basket way down there. Now, that big tree must have gotten struck by lightning or something. But really, it's a good placement shot. You should kind of want to get, I think, probably just in the middle somewhere. And then you probably have a 275 or so upshot. And so this one's probably more gettable than the par 3 is for me. I think I might take that because that might have been my best shot ever on this hole. So, might have not been my furthest drive on this hole, but it's probably the closest, at least for this short location. I definitely have probably a 70 footer, 60 or 70 footer. So that was a pretty good drive for me. So here's an example of not necessarily knowing how far that basket is. So I know to the short pin, it's 450. And I think that location right there is 610. I don't think it's 750. I don't know. So what we're looking at is probably maybe 230 or so. This is where I really need my rangefinder. Maybe it's 250, maybe it's 270. I really don't know. I think that worked. I'm gonna tell you what I did. So that's first throw. I threw a wolf because on the right here, there's some low-hanging branches. Usually when I approach, I like to go wide and crash in. So really I needed a straight shot. And so went with the wolf. I think I parked it. All right, the wolf is parked. Ow, ow!
Okay, I'm a little surprised by this one as well. Only 2 people birdied this combined with both tournaments. So if I got a birdie on this hole, I'd be stealing one from the field. It looks like a good chunk of folks, though, are getting par, even though it looks like for Central Classic, it was shooting at 4.17, and for AGO is 4.5. So this is one of those where I didn't really highlight. There is OB on the right and left if you go too far left or right. If you go too far left, too, you get kind of pinched off, so that can make it easy to get a bogey. But I definitely think a par is what I'm going to shoot for, but if I can throw it like I did with the Wraith and replicate that, then I'll definitely have some birdie opportunities.
Okay, this is hole 5. The sign says it's 260. It is up over this hill. And it is, I think, right in that area on the right side. I've played this location before, but usually I play the small, which is behind this tree over here. So it's over here, 260. I might try to throw a mid-range or maybe even disc up to like a flippy fairway, like the river or something. So we'll see. I'm throwing into a headwind, so it's going to want to probably turn it some. So got to get it over the hill, get some height. To have a good forehand would be nice. I might try that. I just don't know if I have the oomph. This will probably be my last one because, again, I don't know what's going on. I would imagine that's a really good line. I'm just not sure. And I'm going to throw one forehand. All right, let's check them out. Okay, kind of show you where they landed. The wolf was right there, which is a pretty good shot. I mean, that's in the circle. Zoom in a little bit. There's the river. That was a really good line. It's more of a downhill putt. And then right here, I got my forehand racer is right there, but more of an uphill So you do have the danger of the slope. So it might be better to have a forehand, because then you are putting uphill. I gotta think this one through though.
So I think from here on out, I'm just going to put the averages for AGO and Central Classic instead of doing the recap at the end. But for this hole, I do think that it is both birdieable and parable. Just depends on my drive and putt.
Guys, this is hole 6. It says 420. It's a bomber hole. Let me zoom in. It's way, there's the short position, but there is the long position. So with my style, I'm gonna have to try to get something moving left to right and then hook them back up. The Wraith has become my go-to distance driver. Unfortunately, I hit a tree. I think I would have gotten a decent look instead of being like deep in circle 2 here. This is probably going to be a par hole for me. There's just a lot of trees to contend with. I have to just get a really good and lucky line. All right, guys, this is hole 7. The sign says it's 350 feet. It's a dead straight shot. There she is. Old trusty FD. So hole 7, I think, is a birdieable hole. But I can see where you can get caught up, hit a tree early, and it'll be hard to scramble. I bet that there are some wide forehand routes that some power forehand players use that might be a little safer. This is hole 8. The sign says 440. Let me zoom in. It's a 440-foot hyzer shot. So this is probably going to be most definitely a par hole for me. Hole 9. Hole 9 is 400 feet dead straight through all these trees. Okay, probably about 60 or 70 short. Right now I'm feeling more comfortable probably getting the 360, 370 range. My back is tight, so I think I'm doing okay, but I don't think I gave that enough height. Probably need to give it a little more height to push a little further. Say hole 9, I like to be able to give myself birdie bids, kind of like I did there, but might need to be working a little bit more on my circle 2 bids or floaty soft bids. Because honestly, I think MA1 is probably similar to MA3. Y'all let me know what you think, but it depends on the course, obviously. But a lot of times staying in bounds and staying around par is good. And so I would think that that would probably do decently well here.
Okay, here's a quick recap of the front 9. I was 3 under. Now, I had pristine conditions, minus it being a little chilly, but there's plenty of occasions in which it's very windy at Central, and so this could change. But here's my assessment. Hole 1 is a parable hole. There's a slim chance I can get a birdie. Weird things can happen, though, and I could get a bogey, so most of the time I'm going to get a par. Hole 2 is a little more of a coin flip, but I'm going to lean more towards getting a par than a birdie. It is uphill. It plays longer than it is. Hole 3, I definitely think it's very parable, but it's also very birdieable. However, because of the OB, you can get a bogey. It can happen quick. Hole 4, I think I have a better chance of getting a birdie on hole 4 in the longs than in the shorts. And so most of the time my drives land in the area where it did, and so that's pretty good. On to hole 5, really it depends on how well I drive and how well I putt. I did give myself an opportunity for a bogey because there is a slope behind the basket. So if you miss a putt, rolling down, that's a bogey opportunity. Hole 6, definitely a par hole, unless I get a really lucky drive. Hole 7 is a coin flip. It could be a birdie. It could be a par. Hole 8 is definitely more on the par side, and hole 9 as well.